here tonight, back for a second time in the music room, is Mr. Bob Livingston. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. She lives down south where the river's age goes back to the original spirit, and the India ink is flowing over the page down to the original spirit, and the rhythm of life is still young, and she is one among the original spirit. And every morning she walks out to the sacred ground where the ancient music is playing. She begins to sing as the rain falls down, like 1,000 voices were praying. And then the clouds have all gone, and her light shines on, and her original spirit. And I need to know that I'm a part of that original spirit, where my aim is sure and I ride that royal road. Oh, I know, and I know the truth. I know it when I hear it, in its original spirit. She lives down south where the river's age goes back to the original spirit, where the India ink is flowing over the page down to the original spirit, and the rhythm of life is still young. Yes, it is. And we all had one here in the music room with the original spirit. Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Bob Livingston. I came all the way from Austin, Texas, just to be here. And I had a lot of great luck in my life playing music and got to go to far and near. Believe me, I'm near now, but I've been... your tax dollars helped me to go to countries like India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh and all over the Middle East for the United States State Department. And of all the countries that I went to, though, India was the furthest out and the furthest in, too. I got to play with local musicians on their indigenous instruments, and we call this music country and eastern music. Or ragabilly is another word. I'm playing a show tomorrow in Austin with this group that put together when I got back. It's called Cowboys and Indians. Dots, not feathers. That's your part. Some cowboys and Indians that came riding across the sands on a blood-red painted desert, lone equestrians. Sometimes red is black and black is white. Mortal colors vanish from your sight, but not the cowboys and Indians. Visionary drifters on a timeless caravan, sticking close together when things get out of hand, sharing in an unspoken word that each and every one of us has heard. The cowboys and Indians. Here's your part. Sing that one more time. Sacred, almost holy, they were here before me, and carry on. Through the lost horizon, went into disguise and carried on. and they're never without focus, always on a sacred trail. And it's absolutely guaranteed their steps will never fail. Oh, the wheel is turning, even standing still. And the wisest men know never to reveal. The cowboys and Indians. Oh, cowboys and Indians. Here's your part. Oh, yodelay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yodelay. And they are cowboys and Indians. Thank you. I don't know if you heard the story about Sitting Bull. You know, Sitting Bull, he was a Sioux Indian. He was a medicine man, a shaman. And he was part of the Battle of Little Bighorn, where the Sioux Indian nation wiped out the 7th Cavalry. They felt that they had to do it. There was a lot of people invading their land, and they wanted to make a statement, and they certainly did. And we've been talking about it ever since. Well, a lot of people don't realize that Sitting Bull went into show business short after that battle, and he joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West. And I don't know if you've ever seen those old newsreels of Buffalo Bill, but they had, you know, Zulu warriors and Maasai tribesmen and mounted riders from everywhere, Hussins and Cossacks, vaqueros, Native American cowboys and Indians out the kazoo, trick ropers, snake charmers, Annie Oakley, Wild Bill Hickok, Willie. They had it all. And of course, Buffalo Bill was riding herd up front with his hat off in his hand and his blonde hair waving, and it was quite an experience to go see that show. Star Spangled Banner being played, American flags waving, and so they go to England. They take this big show to England, and Queen Victoria was no different than anyone else. She wanted to get next to Buffalo Bill in the worst way, you know, and he was the most famous man in the world, maybe the best way. But when this multicultural extravaganza came by, Queen Victoria stood up and saluted the American flag, the first time in history a British monarch had ever done that. Through the power of music, entertainment, well, now Mahatma Gandhi and Sitting Bull were lying in the sun around the swimming pool, talking about breaking all the rules. Listen to the radio. The Mahatma winked and he flashed a grin. He said the Wild East is where I've been. If you've seen it once, you gotta see it again. You gotta see the Himalayan snows. I gotta start over because I didn't tell this part of the story. You're wondering, why is Mahatma Gandhi in there? Where did he come from? And I realized that to really fully appreciate this song, because you see, this is where the suspension of disbelief comes. Because sitting in the box with her, Queen Victoria, was Mahatma Gandhi. And he was 27, 28 years old, going to the law school over in England. And so she had, of course, invited him. And so she thought, what would it be like to have these two Indians go back to her place? The Indian of the West, Sitting Bull, who sometimes had to resort to violence when his back was to the wall, and the Indian of the East, Gandhiji, they called him, who turned the other cheek and defeated the entire British Empire. What would they have to talk about? Well, now Mahatma Gandhi and Sitting Bull were lying in the sun around the swimming pool, talking about breaking all the rules, and listen to the radio. KLIF. The Mahatma winked and he flashed a grin. He said the Wild East is where I've been. If you've seen it once, you gotta see it again. You gotta see the Himalayan snow. Sitting Bull, he said, Gandhiji, It's the Great Plains for me, chasing buffalo and living free, and watching all my children grow. Well, Gandhi pulled his weaver's thread and he spun some yarns, and then he said, no need for the Tibetan Book of the Dead to know which way the spirit goes. Well, that's what he said. Was the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, which just happened to be standing on a street corner when it all came by. And here's the moral of the story. West is east and east is west. We're only one planet and that's the test. We're just passing through, we got no address. Awakening what we don't know every day. Yeah, Sitting Bull and Gandhi too, they share a pipe with me and you. They both knew how to break the rules and listen to the river flow. Listen to the river flow. And they were cowboys in India. Ho, ho! Yeah. Thank you. That song, the Cowboys and Indians song and this song were kind of the core of this piece, Cowboys and Indians, and I wrote them with Bobby Bridger. He's a great poet, author, musician. He ought to come play here sometime. He's truly a genius. And when I came back from India, I wanted to put together this group, this Cowboys and Indians group, and I wrote a grant for the City of Austin Cultural Contracts Department, and I've been funded now for 15 years. And we play in schools, we play in theaters, we play all over Texas. We played at Will Rogers Auditorium. We did some stuff in Dallas, and mainly we're centered around Austin. But Texas Commission on the Arts has helped us out as well. And I got with Bobby and we wrote those two songs. And then the third song in kind of the trilogy was written in India with a fellow named Reed Barksdale Wood. And he was a Sanskrit scholar I met over there. He's an American living there in the wilds of India. And he told me a lot of stories, a lot of the mythology of Indian mythology. One of it is, of course, there was a super monkey in India. His name was Hanuman. And Hanuman, they were out on a trek one day, and Hanuman kind of was a follower of this god named Rama. And Rama, it was in need of a certain herb, and he sent Hanuman back a couple of thousand miles to get this herb. He flew there, and Hanuman couldn't figure out which herb exactly was, so he just brought this whole mountain back, the mountain of herbs, and flew it back. And so that's part of this mythological story of the Ramayana in India. And then, of course, the South American Indians, they believe in things like if their warriors die in battle, they become heroes, they go up into the heavens and smoke these big cigars, and at night that's what we see as the stars. When someone tells you that, you just have to somehow find the truth in all this. And so imagine you're kind of at the banks of a sacred river, and your teacher is there, and you're sitting at his or her feet, and they're telling you some of these wild legends. And I know that, do we have any teachers here tonight? Any teachers? Teachers are really our sacred ambassadors. Teachers. So we want to do this for all the teachers in the audience. It's called I Believe It. Well, people trust only what they see, but they don't have it right. Something's higher there for me when your eyes fill up with light. Upon a time once long ago, when this old world was new, everything had an inner glow, and with wings the mountains flew. And I believe it, yes, it really must be true. I believe it, 'cause it was told by you. I believe it, yes, it really must be true. I believe it, 'cause it was told by you. I can't remember the words of this song. It's been so long since I've done it. I trust only what they see, but they don't have it right. I'll get it. You put magic in the day and given faith to me. The truth shines in every word you say, and what you wish will be. So let me follow you when you go to the land where legends live. All is real and there's no show, and no one takes but gives. And I believe it, yes, it really must be true. I believe it, 'cause it was told by you. Help me sing that part. I believe it, yes, it really must be true. I believe it 'cause it was told by you. I believe it 'cause it was told by you. And you put magic in the day and given faith to me. The truth shines in every word you say, and what you wish will be. So let me follow you when you go to the land where legends live. All is real and there's no show, and no one takes but gives. And I believe it, yes, it really must be true. I believe it, 'cause it was told by you. Help me sing it. I believe it, yes, it really must be true. I believe it, 'cause it was told by you. And I believe it. Oh yeah, thank you. I can't remember that second verse, but I'll do it in the second set because I really want to get that down. You don't normally sing in a microphone like this at a gig, you know. This is a studio situation, and sometimes you get a little nervous. But I really haven't done that song in a year or so. I thought I would do it just to get those down. I'd really like to get that one down as well. Well, I'm from Lubbock, Texas. I went to Lubbock High School, and I had Miss Honey for English. That'll be important later on. It's important right now. She was an elderly woman. I had her. She was trying to teach. I don't know if you've ever tried to wrap your mind around the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, you know. So, especially in Lubbock, a bunch of cowboys, what was she trying to prove? And so it was hard. It was not easy. And I kept thinking, I kept thinking, you know, what can I do? How can I come to some understanding? And then I found the key to all this, that at the beginning of her career, she taught Buddy Holly senior English. And these desks were all bolted to the floor, and they'd never been moved. And I found out, I pestered her a little bit, found out where he sat. And I got to sit in Buddy Holly's desk. And I kept thinking he would come to me, you know, and give me some insight in the Canterbury Tales and other stuff. And in fact, I did. I channeled Buddy Holly one day, and he did give me some handle on that, on all that. But the best piece of advice he gave me was to get out of Lubbock. And I took off for the Wild West. I left immediately. I went out to this little town in the mountains of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, the lower Rockies, called Red River, New Mexico. And I was playing this gig, and it was like the first time out of the nest for me, and I played for room and board and tips. And they put a sign over my head back here that said, "Singer's survival depends on donations." And I just want you to know, brothers and sisters, nothing has changed. And so I played, and I got, there you go. We got a tip jar. I don't like to call my attention tip jar. I played this gig last night in Georgetown, and they had a really elaborate tip jar, and it was right kind of front, and it was written old English letters, tips, on it. And this dyslexic walked in the room and spit in it, but I still have the money. I need to dry it out. I don't know if your dryer's working, but he also left a couple of peach pits. But so, anyway, I regress. So one day after a gig, the owner of this club said, "You got to go hear these guys that are playing down the street. They've got this really cool group. They're called Three Faces West. They were from Dallas, and they had their own club in Red River." This was 1969. And I go into this club, and I see this band, and they're a couple of years older than me, but basically my age, and just fantastic. They wore leather pants and leather vests and these wild rags around their neck, rakishly long hair, and they had great harmonies, and they played great. And it was Rick Fowler, Wayne Kidd, and sort of the real wise ass of the group was this guy named Ray Hubbard. And so we became friends. We all became friends. We wrote songs together, and they were doing stuff by people that I'd never heard before. And I was just mainly songs I did at that time were either mine or stuff I'd hear on the radio. I didn't really have a lot of records to really, dig into. But they dug into these records and would find these obscure songs by people, Johnny Vandiver, Keith Sykes, Tom Rush, and even Gordon Lightfoot stuff that I'd never heard before. But the songs that they did that really struck me were the greatest songs were by this fellow from Dallas. His name was Mike Murphy. And now you know him as Michael Martin Murphy, but he was just Mike Murphy. And he had disappeared out into Los Angeles somewhere and become a songwriter for Screen Gems. He had written songs for the Monkees and Patti Page people. And but nobody was really in touch with him. So I learned some of his songs, and I went out, took off further west, the Wild West, and I ended up in Los Angeles. And I got a record deal on Capitol Records. And they gave me just enough money, and I bought a Datsun pickup truck and a Martin guitar. Neither one of them was new, and that was good. I was driving down this dusty dirt road in the middle of Los Angeles one day, and this hitchhiker was standing there on the side of this freeway. And I never stopped for hitchhikers before, but for some reason, the hand of fate just kind of steered my little Datsun over the side of the road, and this guy jumps in the car. My life was fixing to change. Turned out he's from Austria, and he worked on foreign cars. And he says, we trade each other our life story. Mine lasted about 2 blocks. Nothing much had happened to me, but he was an interesting fella, and said he worked on foreign cars. He worked on Jaguars. And he says, "I have a client. He's the only other Texan I know. He's from Dallas. He's a musician too. His name is Mike Murphy." Well, that guy became the governor of California, but that's another story. We're not going to we won't go there. We won't go there. So I just said, if you ever see this Murphy again, I can't believe it. And I wrote my name and number down, and that night Murphy called me up. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" I met Three Faces West, and Ray Hubbard played me your songs, played me Wildfire. And I think it's about as good as anything I'd heard since the Beatles. And he said, "You're a genius, and we need to meet." So we did meet, and we became good friends. And I started playing with him some, and my record deal fell through, and so did his. And we decided there's only one thing to do, and that was get back to Texas where we once belonged. So we got on I-10 heading east. 2.5 sunrises later, my little Datsun blew a head gasket in Van Horn, Texas. Anybody been to Van Horn? You know, it's the world's largest truck stop, you know, full of millions and millions of gallons of diesel and coffee all mixed together, surly waitresses, suspect cooks. Really, you know, they serve diesel fried steak every Saturday night, and it's not bad, you know. And the town iconoclast, old Cactus Jack, he was sitting over by that window there. I can see him now, watching the sun come up. Right in the middle of the 10-cent scenery, shuffled and stacked on a postcard rack, there's a cute little kid on a Shetland pony. She smiles at me and I can't smile back. And Cactus Jackie drinks coffee black. He tells me it's my lucky day. 5 o'clock in a Texas morning, I come a long, long way. 5 o'clock in a Texas morning, I come a long, long way. Well, now she left me cold on a winter's morning, cold it's been for the longest time. She told me Texas is where she was going, and I've been looking, but she's so hard to find. And Cactus Jackie drinks coffee black. Look at him, tell me it's my lucky day. 5 o'clock in a Texas morning, and I come a long, long way. Yeah. 5 o'clock in a Texas morning, I come a long, long way. Well, I don't know just where I'm gonna find her, maybe the soldier with the suitcase, or she just said she was going down to Texas for a little while. Yes, I'm looking for the girl with long brown hair, and she's got crazy eyes, and she's not too pretty, but she got a beautiful smile, and she just said that she was going down to Texas for a little while. That's what she said. Well, now the cook in the back, he's getting mighty curious, and he asks the waitress where I'm from. And she just says, well, hell, I ain't never seen him before. He's probably some sort of spaced out California bum on his way down I-10 till he get to San Antonio. And he gonna turn left north up there past the most dangerous highway corridor in the world at Austin, San Antonio. You know what I'm talking about? And he's gonna go on past Waco, gonna get to that Y, and he's gonna take the left fork, and he's gonna get lost and have to double back. But finally, after a while, he's gonna get up there and he's gonna, you know, there's this music series going on, a place called the Music Room in Waxahachie, Texas. And I heard it's really fun, and they have a lot of friendly people there, and they even record the show, and you'll be part of history and recording, and it may end up in the Southwest Collection of Archives at Texas Tech University, you never know. And they even have a potluck dinner. And gee, I wish I was going with those boys. And Cactus Jackie says, that's right, as I walk out into the light. 5 o'clock in a Texas morning, and I got a long, long ride, yeah. 5 o'clock in a Texas morning, I got a long, long ride. Oh, outside the sun is coming up, and the wind blows me just like a Dixie cup, a Dixie cup, down the highway, yeah, yeah, down the highway. Come on, let's get on down that highway. o'clock in a Texas morning. Now I got a long, long, long ride. Yeah. Thank you. So that song was written by Michael Martin Murphy and a guy named Boomer Castleman, also from Dallas. We came back to Texas, and we needed a place to live, and we weren't going to move to Lubbock, which is where I'm from, and we weren't going to go to Dallas, which was where Murphy was from. And so we picked this little central Texas town. Streets were full of musicians and poets and artists and dancers, called Austin, Texas. We hung out at this place called the Les Amis Cafe. It was on the drag, right up 24th Street in the drag, and all the prettiest waitresses were there, and so that's where all the musicians hung out. One day at a band meeting, we had this band with Michael Murphy, and this guy named Jerry Jeff walked in, and he sat down, and he said, "I can see that you're some musicians sitting here, and I was just thinking that you look like an instant band to me, and I've got songs too, and let's make a record." We said, okay. So we made a record with Jerry Jeff Walker, and it was called just Jerry Jeff. It was his first MCA record, and had L.A. Freeway on it, and Charlie Dunn, Old Beat Up Guitar, some of those songs. And so this band that we had, we kind of played both with Murphy and Jerry Jeff, and we'd go out on a tour with Murphy and come back and then go on right with Jerry Jeff. So we were constantly on the road. We were called the Interchangeable Band at that time. We would have a name later. We went out on this tour to Jerry Jeff, and we went out southwest, and we went all the way to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and we played this place called the Line Camp. And what I remember fondly about the Line Camp was this big old barn, and dancing and hooping and hollering. The place was packed, people hanging out of the rafters, and Jessica Lange was standing right there with this long neck beer, and she was just sipping it, and she was kind of sweating, and it was stunning. I mean, and so she was with that guy Sam Shepard, and they were living out, and they would come to see us play, and that was cool. We were staying at the La Fonda on the plaza, and one day about 2:30, I was sitting next to this guy in the bar. He was in the band, and his name was Gary P. Nunn. I'll tell you why I use that inflection later. And there was a guy at the back of the bar, and Gary and I were having a drink, and we were looking back there, and the guy leaned against the bar, and he looked famous, cool-looking guy, and had this weird hat and long handlebar mustache. And I kept thinking he was an actor or something. I knew I'd seen him somewhere before, and I went, "Gary P. Nunn? Who is that guy? Have you ever seen him?" And he hadn't either, and it turned out that it was a poet by the name of Richard Brodigan. He was a famous poet back in the day, in the 70s. He'd written a book called Watermelon Sugar and one called Trout Fishing in America. Some of you still don't know. Let me just do one of his poems. It's a short one, so you'll know what kind of guy we're dealing with. A lacy leaf of lettuce fell off of my plate and onto the floor. So what? That was the way the poem went. So we thought anyone that eloquent deserves a drink. So we bought this bottle of wine. We sat down next to him, and Gary and I ended up writing a song about that. And the poet's in it, and it's called, Jerry Jeff cut it, and a few other people. It's a Texas swing number. We do have a little dance floor right out here if anybody wants to try it. It's called That Public Domain. Oh, I got my irons in the fire down in Texas. Got me a toehold in Tennessee. I got my foot in the door of that California store, but I'm up to my ears in me. Don't be concerned if the song sounds familiar. Don't be concerned if it all seems the same. Just be concerned that your policies will kill you, and it's all just public domain. Well, I took a bite of the Big Apple. Oh, yes, I dabbled in that forbidden fruit, you naughty boy, where they promised me points and they slip me little bitty skinny joints. But I've yet to see me any loot from the man in those high-heel Gucci shoes. Don't be concerned if the song sounds familiar. Don't be concerned if it all seems the same. Just be concerned that your politics will kill you every day. And it's all just public domain. Let's play it, boys. Uno, dos, tres. Well, I sang in that Red River Valley. I drank wine with the poets in Santa Fe. There he is. Well, I ran with those darlings in Waxahachie, like I ran from Snow White in L.A. I think I'll go and see what's shaking down in Bombay. Don't be concerned if the song sounds familiar. Don't be concerned if it all seems the same. Just be concerned that your politics will kill you. And it's all just public domain. And it makes sense to get into the rain. Into the rain. It's raining. It's raining. It's raining, 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 rain. It makes sense to get into the rain. Woo-hoo. Oh yeah. Yeah. We'll do another song about the rain real quick. Do you have enough rain around here? No, never enough? Well, this song is actually about having too much rain. It's called It's Been Raining for So Long. And, rain, too much rain can also put you in a pretty bluesy state. You'll be glad to know that after I do this song, it usually rains. Within 6 months or so. Monsoon. It's been raining for so long. I can't remember what it's like to feel the sun, and everybody's walking with his head down. It's been raining for so long. Last night I was hoping for a nice tomorrow. I was hoping for an early start. But in between the thunder and the lightning, we may need another arc. It's been raining for so long. Move over, honey. There's no amount of money gonna stem that tide. Looks like an overflow. It's been raining for so long. Yeah. Lord have mercy. And the weather forecast says it's raining. And there's 100% chance of more rain. And there's a tractor stuck in the middle of a field. The creek's crawling out of its banks. You know that kid just been wanting out of here. It'll never stop raining. That's what he thinks. It's been raining for so long. And the weatherman is crying when you turn that TV on. Hey daddy-o, don't sweat it. It's not your fault. It's just been raining for so long. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lord, Lord. It's seeping deep It's raining. It's coming down in my sleep, Lord, Lord, Lord. It's raining. I tried to read a book and I thought I'd feel better, but here I sit, just worrying about the weather. It sounds to me just like a blue, blue song. And it's a blues song, and I'm sorry I had to come here tonight to the music room singing that old Austin, Texas blues. But sometimes it make me think that it's been raining for so long. It's been raining, raining, raining for so long. It's been raining for so long. Yeah. So I have a new CD out. It's called Gypsy Alibi. So we'll do a couple of songs and then take a little break. And this is called Blind Love. Blind love has been messing with your mind, and you're blind to the fact she got you waiting in line. Feels so good and it hurts so bad. Nobody can tell you that you've been had by love. Blind love, blind love is gonna take you for a ride. It won't give you no choice, no time to decide what's springing from your heart, causing all the pain. And one thing's sure, you never feel the same about love. Blind love. You think you got something going, but it changes from day to day. And seeing ain't believing, so you just gotta get away. You've been walking the floor, worrying about it, running around and around and around. And night after night it's just about to run you down. Blind love has got you howling at the moon with cigarettes and beer alone in your room. You're like a B-grade actor playing your part. You can't see with your eyes, but you feel with your heart. Blind love. You think you got something going, but it changes from day to day. And seeing ain't believing, so you just gotta get away. You've been walking the floor, worrying about it, running around and around and around. And night after night it's just about to run you down. Blind love has been messing with your mind, and you're blind to the fact you got you waiting in line. Feels so good and it hurts so bad. Nobody can tell you that you've been had by love. Blind love. Blind love, blind love. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. So I do have this new CD out. It's called Gypsy Alibi, and I was going to hold up a copy and say it's nominated for the Album of the Year at the Texas Music Awards. You'd probably be impressed, wouldn't you? You'd applaud and then buy several copies during the break if you'd heard me say that. And so then next year when I came back to the music room, hopefully, or sooner than that, to work on this major project we're working on here, I would hold the same record up. And I say it's nominated for the Album of the Year. You'd still be, you would know if it won or lost. So I would have some, longevity on this record. I can always just say it's nominated for the Album of the Year. But problem with that scenario is it actually won the Album of the Year in 2011. And thank you. So I haven't had a new one out. I'm trying to get some mileage out of this one still. I only got a few copies left. Did I tell you my album won Album of the Year? Okay, all right. So, I cheated, and I knew I needed to win this thing, and so I have a son who's a computer genius, and so he ran this algorithm that he said, if you will follow this, you're going to win, and so I did, and the first glaring here we have a copy right here. I'm holding it up now. There it is. Gypsy Alibi, available in the living room near you, and so he said, Dad, you need to write a love song, a sad love song, an intergalactic, a sad love song about an android. And so this is my android song. I said, okay, here we go. Have you ever seen that movie Wall-E? Yes. Little, and so you can imagine him, sitting around a camp. It is not about Wall-E, but it's about his cousin, Broken gears and rusted chains. Yes, my love endures on through the rain. I got no tears, I got no pain, but this old heart somehow remains. I was raised by the colonies and sent out to the stars, abandoned after centuries, 1,000 years before the wars. The only comfort I could find in this land of acid rain was the lightning circuits of my mind. Their tall ships no longer came. Through the clear crystal of my dome, I see the shipwrecks all around. This junkyard planet is my home, lost machines on the ground. They used to blast down from deep space, trailing streams of glory, and I would look into each face. Behind their eyes I read their stories. And it's gonna take a lifeboat to sail to my rescue, reaching for the right note. Is there anything you can do with these broken gears and rusted chains? Oh, my love endures on through the rain. I got no tears, I got no pain, but this old heart somehow remains. Beside this yellow sulphur sea, I wonder where they've flown and why they chose to leave me here to dream this dream alone. With these broken gears and rusted chains, oh, my love endures on through the rain. I got no tears, I got no pain, but this old heart somehow remains. It remains. It remains. Thank you. That's right. This is a song also on Gypsy Alibi. It's called Middle Ages Rockabilly Blues. Some of you will be able to relate to this. But actually, did you know that back in the Middle Ages, there were these emperors? There was Charlemagne. Everybody heard him. There was William the Conqueror. But did you know that William the Conqueror, when he was born, his name was William the Bastard? And I just started thinking, what kind of a name, what kind of a father, but it's obvious that he went a little psycho, especially in the 4th or 5th grade, Here comes William the Bastard. He just make you go a little crazy. So he decided the only way that he could change his name was to conquer all of Europe, which he did. And but even William had a baby back home. And this is not, that story didn't have anything to do with this song, but just kind of came out there, so. Oh, yeah. Gone is the time when I felt so fine and I fell for you. Hook, sinker, and a line. On the silver night, everything was alright. Where did they go? Nobody knows. They gone from me, and all I can see is the dusty backs of their memories. No longer young, not yet old. I cry for the time when I had some gold. Just take me back, back, back. When I was your king. Won't somebody give me a time machine? Time machine. Like a tick on a dog, like a bug in a bed, I wanna hang upon all that you once said. I can see you smile and I can see you cry. See your bedroom eyes till the day I die. All night we sang and all night we played. The sun would rise without our say. Where are all those days? Where are all those nights? We would dance in the sands in the morning light. Just take me back, back, back. Back when you were my queen. When your love was everything. Everything. Think about that. We're aging fast, time's changing us. I tell him slow down, but he starts to cuss. They're gonna take the shovels, throw dirt on my head. What? Living feels too good. I don't wanna be dead. Better count my blessings before it's too late. But they're hard to find on an empty plate. We'll be there soon at the pearly gates. I got my ticket, but I may want to wait. Just take me back, back, back. Back when I was your king. Oh, somebody give me a time machine. Well, take me back, back, back. Back to the times I've seen. Somebody give me a time machine. Hey, time machine. Hey. Well, gone is the time when I felt so fine and I fell for you, hook, sinker, and line.